Summer is supposed to feel magical. Longer days, lower mornings, popsicles melting on little hands, late sunsets, beach towels, laughter echoing around the house. But somehow, it can also feel like absolute chaos. Did I register for camping time? What am I supposed to do with the kids while I work? Why is childcare so expensive? And how are they already bored? Will I ever even get 5 minutes for myself again? The transition into summer can feel surprisingly hard, and the routines shift, the predictability disappears, and the mental load increases. And the pressure to make summer special starts creeping in. The kids enter the summer looking for freedom, while many parents enter summer feeling braced for impact. If you've ever entered summer break feeling both excited and completely overwhelmed, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about something we believe that have so many families craving for right now, and is how to create a sustainable summer. Not a Pinterest perfect summer and not a pressure filled summer where every day has to become a magical memory, a sustainable one. One that supports your nervous system, that supports your children's needs and your capacity. A summer that allows room for joy, rest, structure, and most importantly, real life. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about why summer transitions can dysregulate the entire family, how to let go of unrealistic expectations, why rhythm matters more than rigid schedules, and how to balance, connection, flexibility, fun, and structure in a way that actually feels supportive. This month, we want to help you create that kind of summer, a summer that feels more grounded than performative, more connected than chaotic, and more sustainable than survival mode. So, whether you are parenting toddlers, teens, or somewhere in between, take a breath, settle in, and let's talk about how to create a summer that actually works for your family. Welcome back from Twos to Teens with Betty and Ellie. I'm Betty Artiaga Muriel, recovering burnout working mom, certified parent coach, and founder of Your Parenting Story. I work with driven, high achieving parents who are thriving in their outer world but feel overwhelmed and disconnected at home. I guide them from surviving family life to leading their families with strength, connection, and compassion. And I'm so happy to be having this conversation today alongside Ellie, who shares the same passion for supporting parents in a deeper, more connected way. So, Ellie, please tell our friends a little more about yourself before we actually dive in into the why is the transition to summer so hard?
Hi, I'm Ellie Knott, and if you're new here, I'm a preschool teacher turned parent coach. I am passionate about helping parents of young children who have just lost the magic of childhood, who are feeling overwhelmed with all of the quote unquote shoulds that they feel like they should be doing, so that they can find their authentic parenting path and they can start raising their children with more connection, more confidence, more ease. And let's get into it today. I'm really excited to help parents create a sustainable summer. Um, why is it so hard? Like, summer's supposed to be fun, right? Why does it feel so hard?
That's what I thought, that summer will be fun, right? When I was a kid.
hmm
Why do you think, Ellie, that for parents, some of them are just like I mentioned, like brace for impact? We are getting ready to have like the worst 2 months of our lives instead of actually like flowing into the joy of summer.
Yeah, there's so many factors going into play, and I'm sure they're already running through your head as you're listening to this. I need to figure out daycare, or I need to figure out summer camps. And how am I going to afford all those summer camps? And who is going to drive them to there and pick them up, because the hours aren't the same as school? And if we need a summertime nanny, or maybe our normal babysitters are off on fun vacations and they're not available for the summer. So how are we going to get in, date nights outside of just our normal daycare? Then we just have a whole change of routine, right? Again, like all the hours are different, right? Of whether it's, summer camps or daycares. The sun is setting later, right? The weather is different. When it gets hot, I know sometimes you get to that point in the summer where like the heat starts to make you a little bit cranky, a little bit irritable, right? Um, and these transitions, I mean, it feels like so much for us.
Mm,
And it can also feel like a lot for our kids, even though they're experiencing it in a way that on the outside looks a little bit more joyful and fun. It can still carry some of that chaos. And I know as parents, you feel that as you're anticipating like those extra meltdowns that you know are coming, or the extra attitudes, or them they want to do all of the fun things because there's so many fun things that pop up in the summer. And you can't do them all, right? Time wise, money wise, energy wise. But they think like, oh, it's summertime and we're going to do all the fun things, right? And so now there's battles of, well, which play dates can we say yes to? And, which events and how many, fun little weekend trips can we take, or whatever that looks like. Um, are you thinking of anything else?
yeah, I mean, when I hear you say that, what I hear is that there is like this dissonance between the kids having freedom, right? They are like, yes, so they see summer as a world of possibilities, and then us, we see it as a more stressful time because now the hours that the kids were spending at school, we feel like we have to fill them up with so many things for them to do because they only get this 2 months. I've even heard online you only get 18 summers with your kids, right? And it's that added pressure of then I need to make this summer special for them in somehow. These are the days that they're gonna remember. All of these things come up. But the reality is that we are both kids versus parents in a cross path, right? Of ooh, so now we don't have the same morning schedule or morning routine unless they're going to camp. Maybe if they're going to camp, you're able to maintain some of that routine in the morning. But if not, they're going to bed later. They're waking up a little later, right? It's the routine is different, and there's not that sense of safety that school used to bring to their nervous system because they knew what to expect. And same for us. We are getting, like pushed into this 2 months of less routine, more flexible time. And instead of creating then that joy, it just creates that much more pressure in our nervous system.
Yeah, for sure. And that can be a lot to handle because when your nervous system is stressed, you have less capacity to handle whatever is happening with your child. But at the same time, their nervous systems are also stressed. And they don't even necessarily realize it, right? Because again, for the kids, summer is this big, fun, like awesome thing. So even if they are kind of feeling that chaos inside, they might not even necessarily recognize it.
Mm.
Um, so what do we do then? Like, do we just stay stuck and we're trying to do all the things and we're trying to cram the days full of activities, and trying to make all of the pieces work, and then we're not having any fun all summer?
Mm.
Because I
Mm.
don't know about you, but when one person in the household is not doing well, no one else is doing all that well either, right?
Yes, no, I hear you, Ellie. In our case, and now when we started this episode, we promised the sustainable summer. And I want to bring that word forward and present so we can name it. What is sustainable? What does that even mean to have a sustainable summer? It means that we are taking into consideration all of the aspects of real life that are sprinkled in the summer, and we're accounting for those kind of like in advance, and we are preparing ourselves to maybe dial it down a little bit, right? Until we can create more capacity, because we're coming down, kids are coming down from and the last few weeks is crazy for them. They also don't have the same schedules in the school. They're taking finals if they have, the classes, and things are moving really fast. They have graduations and all these things, and then we're like a standstill at home, and now we want to take it all in. Like Ellie mentioned, we want to go, to all the activities. But being something sustainable means that, if we have 2 months of this, what can we do so by the end of these 2 months, by August, I'm not an ogre. What can I do that, so for in August, we are not like at each other's throats waiting for school to come back. And maybe that means spreading out the fun stuff throughout the whole summer, planning ahead. Maybe we do a fun thing this week, and maybe next week we take a little rest, right? Maybe, yes, we get 10 invitations for summer parties and cookouts, and we say yes to 3 or 4. Maybe we go ahead and tell our kids, hey, what is it that that you want to feel at the end of the summer? What is the most important thing to you to feel at the end of the summer? Okay, and then let's do that and nothing else. And managing, being sustainable means checking in with yourself, checking in with the reality of your life, and saying, what can I actually say yes to without feeling depleted by the end of the summer?
Mm. And the way that you explained that, it makes me think of summer as okay, we're looking at it as a marathon and not a sprint anymore,
Yes.
right? Because we can sprint through a week-long vacation and, like, yeah, we're gonna have all the fun, we're gonna do all the things, right? I just got back from a vacation and we sprinted through it, right? But it was not 2 months long. If we were gonna go on a 2-month long vacation, which is essentially what summer is, at least for our kids, right? We still have to work,
Mhm.
but you can't sprint through a 2-month long vacation, right? It's a
Mhm.
marathon. You need to pace yourself, you need to take breaks, or again, you're going to be the ogre at the end. You're going to be passing out at the finish line. And that's not what we
Yes,
want, right?
definitely. And the kids will do that to you.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Because again, they wanna have all that fun, right? And they don't have that sense of balance or that sense of time and, time management and understanding, like, how far their energy is gonna take them and how long summer actually is. Summer feels so long as a kid, right? Think back to your summers as a kid, as a teenager, they lasted forever, right? For us, it's like a blink of an eye now.
Mhm. It really does. When we were kids, it felt like you even had almost a new life during summer. Like,
Mhm.
you could even say that you had a whole new personality by the end of the summer, and you had adventures and all the things. But now, from the seat of the parents, it is about, yes, I want my kids to still have that sense of joy and that sense of wonder about the summer, but also I want my kids to understand that maybe we're not gonna have all the same amount of fun every day. Have you ever watched Phineas and Ferb? That was one of my favorite shows. And in Phineas and Ferb, they had an adventure every single
Mhm.
day, and that's cool for them. But for us, it's like maybe we can do a Phineas and Ferb day, and then let's see how everything else feels. Also, if you're staying home with the kids, or if they're going to camp, what structures can we maintain? Right, that's where the finding the rhythm comes. Which
Mhm.
moments do I know I'm gonna be more overwhelmed? The kids are gonna be maybe, as well, more overwhelmed, more tired, maybe a little more cranky. That they're gonna need more structure. What are times during the day when we feel more energized, more free? And then those are the times that maybe we can find more flexibility. So when we talk about finding rhythm during the summer in this sustainability is also working with yourself in understanding what things we might want to let go during the summer and what things are staying. For some families, nighttime routines have to stay. If my kids don't go to bed the same way they do during the school year at the same time, and we keep a routine, even if maybe we give them an extra hour, but we keep the same routine, then the next day is not fun for anybody. Then those are moments when we bring structure. We're gonna keep this routine. But then if now I'm home with the kids this week and I know that after we have breakfast, but before it's 3 p.m. and we're hungry, like after lunch, but we're not still not, that in between third snack, I call it the third snack time. So in that time, between that time, my kids are fun. My kids have energy. They're in a good mood. Me too. My coffee is working. Also, then in this space of time, maybe here we can sprinkle some magic. And we are going to find, right? We're moving, we're flowing, and finding what actually works for the day to day and, for yourself and the kids.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're finding a lot more flexibility in that structure, and like you said, finding the rhythm of it. And it's almost like we're kind of flowing in and out of those routines of like we have these anchors that we can come back to, but we don't need to be stuck to them all day, every day. And so we can allow that fun of summer to come in. And I want to ask anyone listening to this to just take a few minutes to reflect and think about what are your favorite summer memories from your childhood? What are those like absolutely like those core memories? And I know for me, they're not like the super extravagant things. They're not like the big ordeals. It's those tiny moments that happen on repeat, right? Or that tradition that happens every single summer. And my summers probably were not filled with like a million things every single day, right? And yours probably weren't either. So use your memories from your summers to just help kind of inspire you in figuring out what is it that you actually want to create for your kids.
Yeah. And I invite you, while you're doing this, let's bring in a little compassion in with ourselves, in the sense of our summer can look different than my neighbor's summer, than my kid's best friend's summer. It us not doing the same things that they are doing during summer vacation doesn't mean that my kids are missing out on anything. Doesn't mean that I'm not giving them what they need. So like getting rid of, or trying to, right, get rid of that comparison that we might have with what everybody is going to be posting during summer vacations, and bringing it, and normalizing the fact that we are not living summer for the pictures or for the gram. We're living summer for those memories that Ellie was saying, the ones that we carry, the ones that carry that connection, that love, that joy between the family. Those are the moments that we're living for, and not just for the experiences or the extravagance of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think helping parents figure out what those rhythms are going to look like for their summer is really going to be the key thing that helps them bring all of that joy, all of the fun in a really sustainable way that keeps everybody going through the summer. And then the first day of school will be here before you know it, and you'll realize you weren't even counting down to it. That is our goal for you. And I think we might be ready to wrap it up until the next one. The next episode, we will get into how to create that rhythm for your family, how to actually start planning for that, how to do it. We'll get into all the details, but I hope this episode gave you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of hope, maybe made you feel just a little bit lighter as you're feeling that pressure to prepare for summer. Um, Go ahead and comment below. Let us know what is one thing that you really want to do this summer, like letting go of those expectations, letting go of the pressure. What is just one simple goal that you have for your summer this year? Um, Before we go, Betty, if parents want to work with you as they get into their sustainable summer, how can they find you?
Yes, if today's conversation resonated with you and you are feeling that pull to grow in the way you show up in your parenting, I will love to connect with you. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at your underscore parenting underscore story, where I share tools, reflections, and resources for the driven, high achieving parents who want their parenting to reflect both the fierce leadership and compassion. And you can also visit yourparentingstory.com for resources, more information about my work, and to schedule a free curiosity call and where we can explore what is coming up in your parenting and what support might look like for you. And Ellie, how can they contact you?
You can head to my website, elliechasecoaching.com. You can also email me at elliechasecoaching@gmail.com. We can set up a free curiosity call. Again, get to know each other, see how we can work together, see if it feels like a good fit. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Ellie Chase Coaching. And until the next one, wherever you are from twos to teens, you've got this and you are about to head into your sustainable summer.